In this lecture, we are going to create some post with the help of ChatterRest API. In the previous lecture, we talked about how we can get the information, and this is the lecture where we are going to create some records, some chatter records inside Salesforce. So what we have in this lecture is we are going to create a record without mention. That means we are just going to create a chatter post either inside a group, inside a particular record, and then we will see how we can mention a particular user in a particular chatter post, because most of the time we need to mention to a user. Why mention to a user? Suppose that an example over here, I'm working on a particular ticket, I got it done, and then I need to ask tester to go ahead and test the functionality. So I'll just do a chatter post and say that, hey, this is done, please go ahead and start testing on that. So that is also a very important part of our testing purpose. Now next what we have is how we can post with the help of HTML markup. That is also very important. Why? Because you need to highlight some important part of your chatter post. So how we can do that? That we can do as part of HTML. Like we wanted to have some bold text, we can do that. We wanted to have some headings, we wanted to have some italic text. So how we can do that? That's all is there in this post, which is number 3. And then we will talk about how we can follow a particular user we wanted to follow, and how we can follow a record as well. Because sometimes we wanted to follow a user, either we wanted to admire him, or we wanted to see what that user is doing and how I can grow myself. I can grow as a professional, I can grow as a personal, or how I can follow him to increase the revenue or to give a better boost to the company. There might be any reason you wanted to follow a user or a record. And then we'll talk about how we can get the following details. Following details means for a particular user, how many numbers of followers are there. All those things we are going to do that. So let's quickly start without making any delay. Again, what we are going to do is we are going to use Workbench. This is our again, this is our playground where we are going to play around with this, and then we will see how we can do that. First thing what we talked about is how we can post a record, right? Post a chatter post. So if you go over there, what you need to do is in this API, you can see, right, you have got post a feed item, then you have got post a comment. You might be confused which one you wanted to use. So let me clear. Post a comment is something that you need to use for posting a comment to a record. Okay. And if you wanted to go here, post a feed item, feed item is something that you can post for any record, for any group. Now what's the difference between, let me quickly again recap you. Post a comment is something you are replying back on a thread. On a thread means, let me go ahead over here. You have got this thread, right? This is a post that you have posted. You are trying to reply to this. I can set this anything. I'm just typing some random words over here. You can just reply it over here. Or what you can do is you can say this is simple reply. So now what you did is you posted a posted a comment to a feed. But if you actually wanted to create a record, then you need to use this post a feed item. So this is the parent, and then child is the comment that we talked about, post a comment. So this is this is a simple JSON body which is having multiple things, right? You have this mention item. You said that this is what you have, this is the user you wanted to mention. But what we are going to do is we are just going to copy this. I'm going to, or not this, what I'm going to do is I already have. First thing what we will do is let's quickly copy this URL. This is the URL. Now if you see here, right, in the top you can see this is the URL that we need to use for creating a feed. So if I involve the version information of my system, which says, which prepare the complete URL, says chatter and feed element. Now what I wanted to do is I wanted to post. I will go to the post, go to headers, and make sure you have this application by JSON and all. There are a few extra things that it requires, like authorization, which requires a session ID, which is a valid, or access token. But as we are logged in Workbench, it is already having our access token or session ID. So we no need to worry about this over here at this point of time. I'm just going to collapse these headers. Now it is requiring a body. What body I need to post? What I'll do is, again, I'll go ahead, copy this simple body over here and paste it over here. Now if you see, right, I have got few things extra. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove this. I will let you know why I'm removing. So what I did is, I have a very simple comment over here. What I said, I have a body. Under body, this is a message segment. You might be remembering, right, in the previous lecture when we were talking about, when we were getting the details, we talked about this message segment. So these are the message segment. How many messages? For every text, you might have some paragraph, you might have some italic text, you might have some headings. So all we can do under message segment while posting. So now we have got this message segment. I said type is text, and I said when should we meet for release planning, or I can say that this is our chatter post. Okay, and then again I have multiple. If you want multiple, you can just put as a comma separated. So what is this message segment? It contains the arrays of objects, JSON objects. JSON have key and value, and then at the after that you have, after this body, what we have is we have this. It is saying that what kind of element is. I said that I wanted to post as a feed item. Where I wanted to post, either I wanted to post in a group or in a record, right? So let's talk about first in a record, and then we will talk about in a group. So this time I'm going to use a separate contact here because I can see there is no feeds for this. Copy this and replace the record ID over here, subject ID. This is the ID, the subject where we wanted to post. Let's execute this. Okay, so my session is expired. I'm again going to log in over here. It will take me to the same page again. If not, I'll just prepare my body. So now you can see it just hit the same URL. Okay, this is get. We need to go to post, and we need to say after chatter we need to say feed elements, and this is what, again, let's quickly copy this body that we have. Yeah, so we have got over here, right? So let's quickly remove the mention. I'll say sample chatter and go ahead, copy the record, replace it over here, execute it. So we got this error, right? It is saying that JSON parser error. So what we have got is, it says unexpected double quotes start. So basically this JSON had some invalid characters when I copied from here. So let me show you. So I have just copied this, went to JSON beautifier where we used to, and if I paste it, you can see, right, it has some invalid characters that we don't need. So what I did is I just removed these, pasted the body over here, and again we'll execute. This time we will be able to get the record over here. Now you can see the record has been created. If you get back, refresh this, you will see, right, this is a sample chatter post. The sprint is very the sprint has very tight deadlines. That's how we can post a record to a chatter. Now if we talk about, right, we wanted to post, suppose that we wanted to post it to a particular group, which is Udemy integration. What I'll do is I will do the same post and just change the subject ID and execute it. So now you can see, right, I have got this. I have got again this similar response. That means I have got the success. If I go to particular this group, you can see I have got this sample chatter post, whatever I posted from my workbench. Now here, this is what we can do. Now let's talk about the mention, right? How we can do the mention to a particular user. So we'll just copy from here as well. Go ahead and under here in the same, right, what we need is we need to mention to this user, or if you want to mention over here on the top. So wherever you want the mention in your message, you need to place this mention at there as well, at the exact place where you actually wanted to. Now if you wanted to mention somewhere in the middle, right, you need to have that mention in the middle of the message. Now what is the key over here? You see the type is this time mention instead of text, and then ID to which user we wanted to mention. Now let's start mentioning the users, right? So what I will do is mention the first group on the top. Okay, and then we will talk about the user, which is a SubDC Panther, and then again a user, Udemy integration. So all three mention we have, so we are going to use three different targets. Then we have this SFDC Panther. So these are the three different targets that I'm going to do, and to create this post we are going to use a different record. We are not going to use the same record. So I will use this contact Udemy this time. So we have got this, right? Let's quickly try and see if this works. So this is working perfectly. we got the response. If you go to show raw response, you will see all the responses here, and this is the JSON that you wanted to copy and then create the Apex class that I already showed you in the lecture. And if not, even I don't remember if I showed you. So if you want to parse this response, right, sometimes you wanted to save this response into the system, what you can do is you can just copy this whole response that we just got, go to the admin booster JSON to Apex, copy this link, and once you got, just paste your JSON over here and generate Apex code. What it will do is it is going to create a complete Apex class for you, and then you, with the help of JSON class inside Salesforce, you can just parse and then do some sort of for loops, some logical implementation, and then store those information into the Salesforce object if you want. Now, as we have created this, let's quickly see if that has been created or not. Let's refresh over here. So now you can see here, this is a group, but there is no space. One thing that you can notice, this is a user and this is again a user. Now let's quickly talk about how it is going to not putting this space over here, but for rest of the two mentions. So for that, what you need to do is go ahead, scroll to the top, and if you see, let me expand it. If you see, right, I have put the space over here, but after post there is no space. As soon as I put the space and again refresh this, let's refresh the page again. Now you got, there is an space and this group is already here. And if I click in this group, I can just quickly navigate to the group Udemy integration. So that's how you create a mention. That's how you do. Now you see that this group is already followed. I'm just going to unfollow this. There is no follow, and I'm going to follow this particular record as well. I'm sorry. Let's open a contact record. Now why we are unfollowing? Because next that we are going to do is we are going to follow a particular record, and then we'll see how we can follow that with the help of a chat REST API. So for following a record, what you need to do is you need to hit another URL. But yeah, before we go ahead, we missed one part, which is posting a record with HTML markup. So let's quickly copy this body. We already have. I'm going to copy this body over here. I will paste it over here. Now let me explain it to you. So if you see over here, right, now under this message segment, what we have is we have got this markup type, which is saying that it is a paragraph, and then what is type? It is markup begin. How it is going to work? Let me quickly show you first here. If you are trying to prepare a paragraph, how you will do like this? You will say it's a paragraph. You have got begin and end. That means starting tag and ending tag. That is what we are doing over here. Is we say paragraph markup begin, and then we say that again it is a bold markup begin, and we say that first line of text. Again, now it is a type of text. Now this bold is end, paragraph is end, and then we again say paragraph begin, there is an space, paragraph end, then again paragraph begin and paragraph end. Now what it is happening, right? So let me show you over here how it is happening. Let me here. So suppose that I wanted to post something like this. I say that paragraph and then bold and then again paragraph, right? So here I just wanted to say this is first line, right? So now I got this first line. After that, if I wanted to put an space and then again say paragraph and then say this is second line. So now how many tags I got? First I got paragraph start, and then I got bold start, and then I said bold end, paragraph end, and then same for other paragraph. So that is how we need to do. That is how we need to prepare the markup over here. Now where I wanted to post is, I wanted to post either me. What I can do is I can say just copy this, not me, I can just copy this. Again, this is the contact record where I wanted to post. And if we execute it, we will get that record is created inside that record. First line of text, second line of text. Now if you wanted to get more, you can just go ahead and try to Google HTML markup for chat REST API. You will get all those details over there, and then you can prepare like that. That's how you can do a post with the help of a HTML markup. Again, here if you wanted to have some mention, you can just go ahead and add the mention at the end over here before this array of message segment ends, and you will get that. Now let me show you over here in the body. If you go message segment, you can see, right, if you go to my item 1, this is the paragraph. Item 2, this is a bold. Item 3, first line of text, and then again paragraph. So that is how it actually starts, and that's how this prepares a message. Every message is a combination of multiple message segments. That is what this ChatterRest API works, and that is how it works. Now let's talk about how we can follow, or how we can like record over here. So this is right, follow, record, or user. So let's copy this. So I have got this. I said me, I need to follow. Okay. And this is a very simple body that we need to post. We need to say record ID, subject ID. That might be a record, a user, or a group. Let's copy this record ID. This is unfollowed. I'm just going to say here, execute. And why this URL say users me? Because this is me who wanted to follow to particular record. Again, we got this error, and this error is because of an invalid JSON. After correcting the error, if you use the same body over here, execute this, you will see that has been created. If I go over here and refresh this, I can see now I am following this. You wanted to do the same for a user, you go ahead and just execute this. This might get error, but I'm not sure. But yeah, it is giving us. If I refresh this, I can see I'm following. So that's how you can do the followers. And the URL is going to remain same because you are the user who is trying to follow. That is why this URL is always me. Now next that we are going to do in this lecture is how we can get the following details for a particular user for a okay. So let's quickly see. This is the URL. Again, this is the base URL. Chatter users, I wanted to get the follow for this particular user, and this should be get method instead of post, and execute this. This is a valid user ID, so this will give me the record, total 3 records. Following, I can see who is following me, a subject ID, subscriber, item 2, all those details I can see. Now here yes, when this URL is going to be useful. So this is basically if you try to get the following counts. Suppose that you are building a web page where on the top of your user, on the top of every user you wanted to show how many followings are there, how many followers are there for a user, then this is very useful. And again, this is not only for that, to just whenever you wanted to get the URL, get the following, then only. So that it is always recommended if you have some kind of portal where you are doing this collaboration, it is always recommended to show the followers for every user against every user, so that every other user get inspired to do more and more. They get inspired to do more and more collaboration, like Salesforce does. In the Salesforce portal, in the success community, you see how many numbers are followers and all. So that's how this URL is going to work. So this is for this lecture. And again, before I go ahead, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. And again, I will suggest, please go ahead and do as much as and hands-on you can do, so that you get more issues, and I can help you to become more and more perfect in this integrating the things. Thank you.